because it bugs me, but I can't really. We're live. Well, whatever.
We're live, but we can talk about the light. It's a sensor thing,
Yeah.
anyways. So do
Yeah.
you want to tell? Why don't we start with that? Why is the light bothering you?
Yeah, well, actually, not really bothering me that much, but I'm worried it might bother you because, like, I don't know, it's very lighty and stuff, and it's like over my head. I tried fixing my camera, moving it around. Maybe that's actually better.
That's probably better. Yeah. No. Yeah. So it does bother me. It's just, I guess the sensory. I don't know. We're better equipped to deal with sensory that bothers us.
Apparently, somehow.
Yeah.
I'm still kind of trying to. Well, I haven't really been putting that much time into processing the fact that I'm actually in ESTP, but like, holy shit! I don't know if you read my post in the group, but like, dude, ever since I got into MBTI, like I idealized ESTP so much. I was like, man, those are the coolest type ever. If only I was ESTP, I would be so cool and stuff. And I get tapped and they even shout like, yeah, you're actually an ESTP. I'm like, wait, what? Why am I not all those things that I've projected onto an ESTP?
Right.
Now it's like, what the fuck? So I don't know.
Well, that's the first stage, right? Then after you get into your type a little more, you start realizing, oh, I'm an ESTP.
Oh, already, for sure.
Yeah.
For sure. Definitely. Oh my God. So all those things were because of this and this and this. It's like,
yeah.
But it's gonna take some time probably to see everything.
So that's a good intro. Welcome to another typology interview. We have Victor. How's it going, man?
Yeah. Very good. Good to be here.
Yeah, good to have you. So do you want to tell us a bit about your background before we get started?
Typology and stuff.
Yeah, in typology, where you got started, where you got into it from.
Yeah. Sure. So I'm 24 years old. I'm currently finishing up my bachelor. I'm from Bulgaria, which for the Americans is a country in Southeastern Europe. I currently live in Vienna, Austria, and study international business here. And you know, as I'm doing this, I'm starting to get aware. Oh my God, I'm gonna go so crazy into describing all of the sensory details now. That's one thing. There goes Daisy. Channel change. Like, I'm aware of everything I do now. It's very interesting since getting tapped. I've just been seeing everything. Like everything I do, I'm like, oh wait, this is that animal, this is that function. Oh my God. Right. But I was saying, typology a few years ago, through a friend group and my ex, we discovered it, got into C.S. Joseph's stuff, learned that, and from there I discovered OP on YouTube. Been in the community for like 10 months or so. Just got type 3 days ago, actually, even 2.
Yeah.
So yeah, still processing my type and all that. And yeah. That's enough.
So I can just give feedback right away. Right when you were giving over the sensory and stuff, you weren't excited about the sensory. It's just obvious. Like you had the complete savior state. Yeah, I was type then, I did this and then that.
Okay.
And yeah, it's complete, like, obvious. This is what, yeah. You're not struggling. You're just giving over the details.
I mean, how can that be hard though, right? I guess for some people it is. It's just they say, like, it seems so obvious.
Yeah, I'm not sure it's hard, but the state, you can see their state is different when they're doing it.
All right. Yeah, I think this is something I still have a bit of a hard time seeing. Like, even in myself, I've yet to see my video that I submitted to them again, so I can actually look for those states. Like, I know, okay, I'm looking for demon sleep and demon blast and demon FE and NI. So let me see where that is. So okay, this is what savior and demon energy actually looks like.
Yeah. It's definitely not easy to start recognizing it, but you get there with enough practice for sure. Have you had the time to maybe reflect a little bit on what SE is for you, on where you see it in your life?
One interesting thing, so for SE, I was taught, especially lead and masculine, meant being a god with the physical world, you know. So I just everything related to that, you know, so being amazing at like sports and just mechanical stuff, everything that has to do with coordination and so on. That's always what I thought SE was. And as they tap me, I'm like, I'm actually not that good at any of that. Like, I can list countless of examples of, oh my God, I don't know anything about cars. Oh my God, I'm not that great at sports, and so on and so forth.
Lots of good sensory examples how you're not good at sensory.
So I guess there's still a lot more to process, but I'm starting to understand, okay, there's actually this word of sensory and then intuition, but what is intuition even like? What is even how do you actually consume abstract stuff? What the fuck even is abstract? It's not concrete. I don't understand it.
Yeah.
Something like that.
Well, I've seen SE as being very objectively focused, accepting reality as it is.
Okay.
Even to the point where anyone with an opinion will just sort of irk you. Someone who has an opinion that's not real, that's not based in reality, should just feel like woo, like nonsense to you.
Mm-hmm.
Do you get that at all?
Because I think for an ST, I'm quite interested in NF and NAP concept even already. And I think a lot of what they talk about is not that based in reality. Maybe it makes some sense to me, but it's not here. It's not obvious. And
so do you have an example?
What works me. An example?
Yeah.
No, but I can try to think of something. I mean,
yeah,
just like some spiritual new agey concepts like energy flow and chakras and like enlightenment, such things that are like a bit airy fairy woo woo for some people. Like, I get where they're coming from. Like I might not have like all the sensory and what a chakra is, but I guess I get the point behind it, and I can feel some things in my body and I can have some experience. So I'm like, okay, this just might be valid.
Right. Would you put money down on it?
That's an interesting question. Would you put money down on it? Honestly, what is this question like? I'm not even sure how to process
it. Would you bet? Yeah. Would you bet on it?
I have paid for stuff like even OP. I think.
No, I mean, like, would you bet on it? Would you risk something for it?
I'm not sure. Like, I'm not sure what this is for me. I'm not sure if I've ever done something like this before, so I know what you actually mean. Like, so I don't know, I guess, but maybe yes, maybe I will.
On chakras, so you would.
Am I really an idiot in your TI side?
Yeah.
Yeah. It's fine for you. I don't know. Especially with like masculine TI, I don't see myself as like going over like you're an idiot and you're an idiot and you're an idiot. This is stupid and this is stupid and this is stupid. Like I think I'm like fairly open-minded to well, maybe not different views of my own, but views that make sense to me. I don't know.
Yeah. Well, TI isn't going to be your main issue. You're going to be more balanced with the FE. So
yeah,
you'll still be able to use it.
I've been wondering actually, because I've been catching myself the last 2 days, like how much inner monologue I do, like what Dave said in his audio to me. Like I thought that when I'm going in a circle thinking for like 2 hours, that's like sleep. But that's apparently expending energy, so that will actually be sleep was because I'm not staying in one place. And obviously it's not sleep because I have sleep was, but I'm not sure, like, is it sleep? Is it just TI? Like, what exactly is this process of me having a mental conversation inside my head?
Yeah. So, okay, so you were typed with exactly the same animals as me. The only difference and functions as well. The only difference between us is the observer decider coin.
Yeah, and I do feel like I get a bit of like your vibe, I guess, does kind of remind me of me. Like your energy, at least, like at least animalistically, you do speak as much as me. Like there are some times when I can't take the word because you're speaking, which is completely okay. Just with some people, like I can keep going, and they never really interrupt me or anything. So energy-wise, I definitely can see you being similar to me, like even in the first minute. But for the other things, guess I'll need to get to know you a bit better to be able to.
Yeah, I actually have an issue with that. It's like I'm trying to solve it. It's been forever where people interrupt me or cut me off constantly when I'm trying to talk. Yeah.
Interesting.
Yeah.
Well, sorry, because I'm usually the one who gets complaints about interrupting people too much. So I'll try to be aware of it. But
no, that's so okay. So like what you just did there. Being aware of yourself like that, being very open and objective to how people view you. That's in some way SEFE.
Okay.
Yeah.
Play. Interesting.
Yeah. Also, like to throw yourself under the bus like that. That's like a double decider thing. Saying, "Oh, there's people complain about me like this," and it was obvious. It wasn't like something really weird. Because like if someone like me or like a decider would have said it, oh, people always complain about me. This is something that like I said it. This is something I'm working on. People are always interrupting me. Like for me, it's a demon state. It's a big thing.
Interesting. And I thought I was a decider the whole time since I weren't OP. I was like, okay, it makes sense for me to be a decider. Nope.
Yeah. That's something that I get a lot as well, that a lot of people are saying that they thought they were deciders and they end up being observers.
Why would it be hard to see that in yourself? What do you think?
Because I think no matter what, people do affect us.
Right.
People are a source of pain, and people, like, it doesn't matter who you are, you still have to deal with people in some way. It's just how stuck are you? Are you a deer in headlights, or are you able to get through it? You know?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that's the thing, I guess. Like most of the time, it's just really not obvious until you see another person. Like, oh my god, that's what this looks like. This thing.
There you go.
This.
Yeah.
Like until you know the system, you know yourself, and then you're able to compare yourself to others. Then maybe you're able to understand. So I expect to be able to get a much better grasp on the system in the next few months. Now that I know who I am, so I know, okay, I'm this, so I can see everything else more clearly.
So that's interesting that you accepted it so easily and openly. Like, you know who you are. There's no doubts in your mind, even.
I mean, who you are is just a mental construction anyway. So
yeah.
But one thing that's interesting, I think I've started to, even in 2 days, to actually build a bit of an ego from being an ESTP, because like when I get worried about something, I'm like, dude, I'm an ESTP. What do I give a fuck about him? Before, like, oh my God, this guy over there, I bet he's VDC, and that's why he's so cool. And now this is not an excuse anymore. But on the other hand, I also want to be careful about that, because obviously, you shouldn't be using your type to build an identity around it. Try to, use it to know what you should be working on, something like that. Growth, baby.
No, what was really interesting with that is that you used your identity to give you confidence in some way.
Yeah, but it's like, it's interesting because I think our identity is usually mostly constructed by us.
Yeah.
They shan't come and tell me like this is your identity. So I can see why probably that would be difficult for like a lead F5 who's like, I'm this, and they tell you no, you're actually the opposite of that, like lead master.
But it's the story and the narrative you tell yourself. And so now you have a different story and a different narrative that you're telling yourself, and it has an effect on you.
Yeah, I think like I can totally just start doing completely different things because I just believe in myself. And I do think that most of the time it's about if you do actually believe in yourself, like whether you're gonna succeed at something or not. So now if like I wanna go do some sport or talk to a girl, I know like I'm actually supposed to be good at this, like from a type standpoint. So I actually believe in myself, and then when you do things with confidence, they usually work out, as long as you're not overconfident. But it's complicated.
Well, back at the beginning when you were talking about SE, I wanted to say this as well. This is something I see with a lot of people and their saviors. They never feel like they're good enough with their saviors because they're just so responsible to be good. And so they're seeing their flaws in their saviors constantly. So if you go to someone with SI, you go to their house, they'll say, my house is so messy. And you look around and it's not messy at all.
Right. That's why there's this thing where it's like a meme, like people tell you, oh my God, my house is so messy, and it's like 10 times cleaner than yours if you're like little wee, because they're responsible for it. My mom's like that, like she keeps the house super clean, whereas for me, I think I'm pretty good at tidying up and stuff. But if it's not in a perfect condition, like I won't worry about it. I'll just
exactly.
I know it's good enough.
It's that worry that's coming forward, right? It's that worry, because when you say, oh yeah, my house is messy, great, you're not making a big deal out about it.
Right.
Whereas the SIs are like, yeah, my house is such a mess, I got to clean, I didn't clean enough. They're making a big deal out of it because they're responsible to it. And you go to their house and it's immaculate.
Yeah.
I mean, like, this is a stereotype. It's obviously not all SIs, but I mean, just it's like an example. So when you were talking about your SE, you were saying, yeah, I'm not that good at sports. I'm not that good in the physical world. I should be a god, quote unquote, right? Whereas it's the same thing. It's like you're making a big deal out of it and out of your failures because you seem at least somewhat responsible to it.
It would be interesting to like ask my friends who can see me more objectively than I can see myself. You know,
Exactly.
how good am I actually at this, this, and this, and then maybe they can give me a more objective
Yeah.
opinion.
Yeah. Also, I haven't seen ESTPs always dominate at sports, always dominate at sensory things. At least not in the stereotypical Myers-Briggs or socionics way.
What are they good at? Like, from
they're just accountable to the intake of details, to not make a conclusion until they have enough information. Until yeah, it doesn't really mean that they're good at sensory. It just means they're responsible at sensory. I mean, you can get someone who's a quadriplegic and an SE dom.
Yeah, I guess so. I think there's still a lot of like, stereotypes in my head because I haven't. I think because I haven't talked to many people in the community who like their type is known, it's on the screen, so I can say, okay, I know you're this, so I can start kind of seeing things a bit more clearly.
Yeah.
And it's not myself too, obviously. So, but the one thing I can say for sure, sorry for kind of cutting you off before you even begin speaking, but like ST consume double masculine on top, like fuck yeah, I do that a lot. Too much, I'm a crack addict on it. So that like I can't deny. I consume way too much information. Like last 10 years, I've watched 10,000 hours of YouTube or something. I've said this in like which is like 3 hours a fucking day every day for 10 years. Like all of my pretty much
it's funny how you had the sensory ready too, which is like 3 hours a day. Like you did
that. Yeah, very good with this.
It doesn't mean you're a god in the physical environment. What you just did there was pure SE sensory, right?
Interesting. Yeah, I'm very good with like quick maths in my head, like calculating numbers in my head, like even more complicated. Not like at a savant level, but like adding, subtracting like three digit numbers.
But you didn't just calculate that now. You had that number already
before. Yeah, I thought about it and I was like, okay, so I started watching YouTube like 10 years ago. So how much a day in average, blah, blah, blah. Yeah, I did some calculations, but
and it was ready to present.
Yeah, I guess so.
Yeah. But on the other hand, you do kind of look appearance-wise like a stereotypical ESTP. So
really, I do. Wow. Yeah. I got some pictures of ESTPs apparently because like the one that sent me, I think they were all kind of old dudes and kind of bald. So like I'm not actually see what an ESTP in his prime kind of would be able to look like. Even though I've went over the doc, the 512 types doc like a couple dozen times by now probably. So, but even there, like I don't really appearance-wise. I remember like I thought I looked like some INFPs actually out of all things. And also Ryan pointed out that I look like some ISTPs who are actually your type. Like Mo Salim and who was it? This guy from The Godfather, what was his name? Al Capone, was it?
Al Capone is an actual historical gangster. You mean Robert De Niro or something?
The younger one, Michael. What was his name? I'm very responsible to say to come up with
so we'll be stuck on this until you find the name.
Yeah.
Is that Robert De Niro?
No, he was like Al Pacino.
Someone's gonna write it.
Al Pacino.
Al Pacino. Yeah, that's a name. Yeah.
But that's if I forget some small details, like no, I have to fucking find it. I have to be accurate with my information, something like that.
Yeah, it's about the what. You need to know the what.
Yeah, very, very, very much so. Wow. I'm actually, kind of processing it right now as I'm speaking with you in true sleep-plus fashion.
Yeah.
Realizing, oh my God.
That's actually something I've seen a lot too, is like people with sleep last, it means they have the double activated play. They'll use the play to process the sleep. So they'll process themselves with others in that way as well.
Yeah, I don't know if that's like a good thing or a bad thing, or if you should try processing yourself more by yourself, or you should just talk with others more so you can process yourself.
It's whether it's a good thing or a bad thing, I have my own personal idea that like both is, you should be doing both. You should be balanced on the two, not overdoing one, because then you'll just get stuck on everyone else's perspective and never develop your own.
But for us, don't you think we should be trying to kind of overdo the sleep because it's last, so we're naturally overdoing, the play? I think that's
if you want to get, if you want to talk about getting to a balance, so that's something I found as well, is like you have to go all in on whatever you're missing, whatever's last.
Yeah. Like
until you get comfortable. Yeah.
I've been trying to kind of like being aware of what I'm doing. I'm like, okay, if I want to choose between whether to consume something or to sleep, I know I should choose sleep because that's the thing I'm usually lacking, and the consume is something I'm gonna do anyway. A lot of, too much of.
Yeah.
So yeah.
So the problem is with sleep last, especially with if you're an OE dom, so your brain is going to want to go somewhere else. It's going to want to change the channel, and sleep is about staying on the same channel, and you'll just get restless. Like I've already processed this enough. I want to go process something new.
Yeah. It's difficult. It's difficult. Actually, I wanted to ask you, like, what's sleep for you? Like, first, I was not even sure, like, what exactly, like, as activities, again, wanting to be as clear, is sleep, so I can do it, and like, what's it kind of been for you, being a very similar type to me, like, just getting better at processing it and so on. Like, if you have any tips for me, so to say, for the sleep specifically.
Yeah, I can give you tips, I guess. Sleep is just about just taking all of that stuff, at least for me, all of that stuff that because I'm also sleep last, right? So
right.
I'm probably really bad at it as well. But for me, it feels like you're solving a puzzle, and then information is no longer out there. It's like all of the information you take in is just being held, and you don't know where to put it. It's just sort of sitting there. And sleep is about finding where to put it, finding which information is the same as other information. So you have two pieces of information, and if they're exactly the same, you don't need to remember both of them. Just remember the principle behind them, and then both of them are in the principle.
Interesting way to put it. I will say that I don't feel like I'm much understanding it that well. Like, I'm not like, so that's what it means. I'm like, okay, kind of, I'm trying, just like trying to get a good idea of how do I actually do that. Like trying to
like just something that came to mind, right? So you have kicking a soccer ball and then kicking a football, right? An American football, right?
Okay. Yeah.
So both of them involve kicking. Both of them involve some kind of something. And so you can fit them into the same category. You could sort of consolidate the two in some way. Yeah, there's going to be several details that are going to be different, but there's going to be a lot that can be the same. And so it's about finding those commonalities. So you don't need to remember two instances of the same thing. You just remember the commonality, and it applies to both.
Okay, and I guess that would be more of an NI sleep, right? Like what we have.
Yeah.
It's more NI
exactly.
even.
Yeah.
That's interesting. Yeah, I'll think about that later on, I guess. But that's interesting. So it's more about getting the principles of something rather than all the anecdotes and examples. Just once you get. Okay. Yeah, I'll think about that later on.
Yeah, I've seen it as building your worldview.
Interesting.
Yeah. So, but we're here to talk about you, and you're turning the tables.
Oh, sorry. Yeah.
No, it's all good. It's perfect.
I've noticed I do this a lot. Like, I abuse people for information. Like this lead estimate double masculine consume also likes to ask a lot of questions. Like, I was a very annoying child in school because, well, I guess I wasn't really that annoying about asking questions. I'd want to answer questions all the time, but like I'm noticing like now in university, like I abuse my colleagues, like my other students for like information on exams, like how do you pass this exam? What do you have to study here? Tell me about this profession. I do this so much more than the others, and now I understand, okay, that's why. Because I'm very responsible for learning all of the details so that I know what to do.
So what are you learning then?
Business, international business administration.
Right.
Up my
so you should definitely, so especially with something like that, you should definitely see the sleep come into play where, you can figure out what applies to many problems. Rather than remembering each of the problems separately, you can remember the principle behind it and then re-extract out the details later.
Interesting. I'm not sure I can actually come up with an example of like, oh yeah, I did this here and here. Like, I understand what you're saying, which makes sense if it's fast, I guess. That it means it's not obvious for me. It's not easy.
Well, like on an exam, there's like a certain type of question, and they'll ask you the same type of question 3, 4, 5 different times, but it's the same type of question. It's the same process. It's the same idea behind the solution, right?
Sure, I get you. I think.
Yeah. So you need to figure out the type of question and the process how to solve that type of question. And once you have that, then you don't need to remember how to solve all of the different questions. You have the principle down.
It's kind of like the words. What's the word? But like not like a routine, but like a system in a way for solving shit.
Yeah.
Yeah, I guess so. Like especially for exams and stuff. Like I've noticed before, noticing some patterns, and then I'm like, okay, this here is. It's hard to put into words actually to like.
Of course it is. Yeah.
Explain it obviously, but yeah, I guess it's not supposed to be. But I do kind of understand.
Yeah. Do you want? So, okay, so you said you were struggling to see your TI a little bit, but I mean, I'm seeing it fine. Why do you think it's hard to see the TI?
Probably, I guess, because of anecdotes and like me thinking, okay, if I have TI, especially savior and masculine, I'm supposed to be like obviously be smarter than everybody else, and then I see something like, oh my god, they're so much smarter than me, and like I don't know why, but the last few years I've thought that I do not possess the ability to form like what's it called? Again, like wanting to find the exact right word. Let's just say to form thoughts on my own, independent thoughts. That's what I wanted to say. I felt like all of my thinking, like I just steal ideas from other people. Like I just look at what other people are saying, and then I just kind of take it for myself without really sleeping on it too much and thinking, okay, I mean, I do wonder, okay, does this make sense? Does this fit in with all my beliefs and stuff, but not to an extreme, I would say.
That's the consume, right? But what you do when you consume is, okay, you are taking the ideas from other people, but you're also rejecting ideas at the same time. And your TI is processing what is true and what is false. So it's not like you're just taking everything. You're rejecting things. And the process of you agreeing with it is the TI.
How are you even supposed to like not reject stuff? Are you telling me like SEFIs like take everything, or they actually think about what they like, right? So it's the value game.
Exactly. Yep, exactly.
Interesting. Yeah, I guess I do kind of do that, like thinking what makes sense to me and what I choose to like add to my knowledge,
exactly.
They've called it then, and then what discard as like
and so that's exactly it. That's exactly the consume that you're seeing, because it's taking in this objective information, what other people are thinking, what's been established, what's out there, but you still have to choose what you don't take. But then coming up with things on your own, then that would be after you've taken things in, or in a different mode, like in sleep mode.
That's actually right. Because I think actually it's the people that come up with a lot of stuff. Yes, they're leads TIs, but they're also sleeps. Now that I think about like Elon Musk, for example, like his sleep consume, like especially if you're both of those, like then it'd be much easier probably. Like you consume stuff from other people, but you're also able to come up with stuff on your own, which is supposed to be what's different.
And also Elon Musk, you don't know how much he's actually consuming either. You see these great ideas, but how many ideas does he come up with that he doesn't talk about?
True. I do know that he was a voracious learner as a kid, like reading 10 hours a day, like every day or something crazy like that. So I'm sure he amassed a lot of knowledge.
Yeah.
But
and also you're still young and he's older. He's already gone through before he started creating these ideas, he's gotten to a certain stage as well.
Probably.
Yeah.
But when you said that, like I start wondering, oh my God, considering what he's doing, because I'm a total fangirl of Elon Musk, like everything he does, I think is like literally the most important person on the planet right now. Probably the person with like the biggest impact on humanity from like all the people who lived up until this point, if he stays alive for like 30, 40 more years and accomplishes everything. But now that I'm like, oh my God, considering what he's doing already, what could be in his head? Wow. Yeah. It's like
Yeah.
crazy.
So okay, so putting forth that conclusion like that, he's the what did you say? He's the greatest or the best at something?
The most important person on the planet, I said, and I think
Most
he has
important. Okay, so
he-
that's value there. So that's a little bit of FE.
FE. Why?
Yeah,
Because he's valuable to like people in
yeah,
general.
yeah. You put value on him, so he has a high value, a high social value, is what you're saying.
So FE is kind of being aware of kind of like the social value of others in a way. Maybe is that what you're saying?
Yeah.
Ah,
And
that's
of yourself and all that stuff.
yeah. So like being aware of the social dynamics and stuff like that. I did not see that as FE. Like literally, I think to learn OP, I just need to discuss things with people. So like they tell me examples of what functions and animals actually are. So I'm like,
Yeah, but
I can connect them.
again, like, what do I know, right? You're going to take all of my misinformation and all of my bad stereotypes, and
I
you're going
mean,
to take them yourself. More
suppose
anecdotes.
yeah. So supposedly I can tell if it makes sense to me or not. But whatever.
Right.
Maybe OP is bullshit in general. Like,
But okay, so put it this way: until now, you've taken in a lot of anecdotes, and you're seeing, oh wow, I had a lot of misconceptions based on ESTP, based on all this stuff.
I guess so. I guess so. It's
Right.
just like maybe even though like I've tried to not learn from MBTI memes, like actually watch most of the videos of Dave and Shannon, try to process what they're saying. I've probably watched dozens of hours of their content, if not more than 100. But still, I notice like there are many things that I'm missing. I mean, it's a complicated system. It's trying to explain what a fucking human is. Like human personality is like so large. Like 7 billion of us. It's hard to put us even in 500 small boxes.
Are you aware of what you're missing, or you just know you're missing something?
It's kind of like I know that I don't know. Like who said that was Plato or Socrates? Yeah, I just know that I don't know what, but I just know that I'm not at the competent level, so to say.
Yeah.
Like very far from it too.
Do you want to tell me a little bit about the missing information? Have you been able to see that a little bit? Because you said you thought you were like a decider first. So are you trying to have you started seeing the observerness in you?
Not yet. I guess from the memes in the OP meme group, I guess some of the observer freakouts things did kind of trigger me more than I wanted to admit. Just seeing some weird stuff in reality. But I'm trying to see because I don't think I'm really into any conspiracy theories at all. Or was that more of an IJ thing, not an observer thing?
No, it could be SE thing as well. Yeah.
Right. And other things too, like missing information being a problem. I haven't really slept on it that much, I guess. But so far, no, I wouldn't say. Like the problem being, in fact, I think in recent years, I've realized that I have like by now all of the information that I really need. But for the most part, to be successful, and it's all about the execution. It's all about putting in the work. Like that's where I struggle. It's not about not having enough information. It's about being consistent and putting in the work.
Mm-hmm.
Maybe just me seeing my demons and realizing, being self-aware and seeing where my holes are. Something like that.
Do you want to tell me about your NI a little bit, like about maybe even planning the future and stuff like that? Is that something that you thought you were doing?
Let's give an example. First of all, no, I don't. I realized like when they asked me what do you want to be 10 years in the future, I literally had no idea, like nothing, zero. So let's just say some example of NI. So me not doing NI is me every time I procrastinate my learning until the very last possible moment before an exam. Me not doing NI was me literally doing nothing the whole quarantine, like for 5 or 6 months. I went home and I pretty much didn't do anything productive. And then me doing NI was when I came back. I'm here in my dorm in Vienna now. And I'm like, I have 2 weeks until my last 2 exams, and they're extremely heavy. It's like, I have to make a plan how to get this done. So I went, consumed all of the material information I had to, and I was like, okay, I'm gonna have to like study for like 6 or 8 hours a day. That requires that I have a good schedule. That means I struggle a lot with consistent sleep schedules and waking up on time and not sleeping in. I was like, okay, I have to sleep this amount of time. I have to wake up at this time of day. I have to set up my habits like that, do my workouts in the morning. Then I'll do this material here, and here. And yeah, just wrote it all out. Have a bunch of sheets with plans, like check boxes to cross off the days. So that's kind of like, okay, I'm going all in on this and I go right now. And the next 2 weeks, like all of my life pretty much resolves around like this one goal studying. And even right now, I'm doing this kind of like as a chill thing in the evening so my brain can refresh. But again, it's very short term, like it's 2 weeks. And then I have to be like, I have to think about what I want to do in the future because I'm not even sure if I'm going to keep studying after that, do a master's degree or something else.
So I'd like to present something to you as an option. So SE, I've seen, is also very accountable to the current events and to the situation at hand and what's going on around you right now.
Okay.
And so having that exam be in the moment, be some kind of threat to you in the moment is very SE-like. It's very, and so taking responsibility for that in the moment and doing all that, sure, I'm sure you would have used NI to do that. But it seems more like what you were doing was just more SE to get through it. Power through it.
That makes sense, right?
Yeah.
That NI is going to be a bummer. Yeah, I guess I really need to like sit down like someday with no distractions, maybe do a dopamine fast, just like no consuming for a whole day, and just sit down with a pen and a notebook and think about what do I want to accomplish, what do I want my future to be like.
Yeah. Even the wanting, so like what do you want is a little bit FI a little bit, I guess.
Pure NI then.
Yeah, so pure.
Pure.
Yeah, I'm not sure if there is such a thing as a pure NI, but yeah.
Like, I feel like not I feel like I do watch a lot of people who are lead NI. I feel like most of the people I watch, I really follow are NTs or NFs, and quite a few of them are lead NI. So like technically, it's supposed to be like organizing concepts in the abstract,
narrowing things down.
Narrowing things down. Yeah. For me, maybe. So like, yeah. Go ahead.
Okay. Yeah. So like, your exam problem that you just had, right? This is a problem that's reoccurring, right? It's something that keeps happening. Yeah.
Oh yeah.
And so you're dealing with the fire in the moment, but you're not planning for the next fire. You're not planning around the chaos. You're living in the chaos.
True, like every time it's the same thing, and it's like I even know it's gonna happen because it's happened so many times, and I try to like put in a system in place to like prevent that from actually.
But it's too late. By the time you try to put in the system, it's too late. And so putting in the system has to be planning on the system you need to put it into place has to come way before you ever get to the chaos.
The thing is, like for me, it's not even like late because it might be late for like this one exam, but somehow I still do it. Like I still make it work with the little time I have. Maybe that consume super Werner mode. But like I have known like for a few years now, okay, I really need to get this habit down to actually do a bit of work every day, like 1 to 4 hours, really on a daily basis. And I've tried to set up this system of being consistent, having a schedule, but it's just so hard for me. Like 2-3 days, and I'm like, here's this YouTube video. Let me watch this, and it's 4 a.m. Oh shit.
So the problem with NI is no one can actually give it to you. You have to develop it yourself. So I can't sit here and be like, okay, this is what you need to do. This is the plan. You got to do this to avoid the chaos. No, you've got to develop that plan yourself. You've got to figure it out yourself, and you have to own it. Because like just sticking to a strict set of orders, it won't develop the NI.
Yeah.
And so really, you've got to break out of this yourself. You've got to do that hero's journey and solve it somehow.
Right. Yeah, maybe that's why I was telling you earlier, like that I know that I don't need to do more consuming and I don't need more information. Like I guess maybe that's what I need to do. I just sleep on that NI and figure out, the systems and the plans for the future and everything, all of that.
Yeah, and breaking out of those patterns you get stuck of, that chaos that keeps coming over and over again because.
Yeah, the tidal waves, right?
Yeah. Well, because like if you're only ever responsible for the current chaos, the current moment, like I feel the same way, right? Well, I can't plan for the future. There's a fire right here. I've got to put out the fire. And by the time I've put out one fire, there's a next fire. And it's just like jumping from one fire to the next over and over again. Mm-hmm. And then when your life is over, look at all the fires you put out. You've done a great job. Like like SE gets through it. SE gets stuff done, right? No problem. But you put out tons of fires. But if you actually went into the NI, you might have avoided fires and had
like
extra time for
fire
things.
alarm system. Right.
Yeah.
Interesting. Yeah, so I should maybe just sit down and think of that, like what are the recurring themes, problems, and what do I actually do to solve them? The thing is, again, I want to do the consume game. I want to ask other people to tell me, like, well, how do I do that? How do I do it?
You can't. NIs just go do it. You can't ask people for it. Yeah.
Ah, shit.
Yeah.
So I also guess then that this sleep and I think it's also not like being present in the moment, so like not thinking, not meditation. That's not exactly sleep. It's still like kind of processing things, but it's not just mindlessly going on with the inner monologue with TI, but actually, kind of, yeah, I'm just trying to grasp it, to understand what it is so I can actually start doing it, because yeah, it feels like I don't understand it well enough to where I could, do it.
Yeah. Well, one thing I am getting from you, at least, it's very growth mindset. Your approach to this is like, okay, I got my map. Now I want to fix myself. I want to solve things. I want to see things. I want this help.
Yeah.
And it's really growth mindset. So as long as you have that mindset, you'll get somewhere. You'll figure it out. And then I'm sure in like 10 years time, you'll come back and have some really important messages for us on how you've solved this stuff.
Hopefully.
Yeah.
I'm also still waiting on the actually getting things done side of being consume, play, and sleep last, because like so far I'm just not seeing the part of like me outworking other people, me putting in more work than everybody else. Like maybe I start doing this more in the next couple of years. We'll see.
But for example, like the consume, right? So why are you not outworking people? Probably because you're just on YouTube. Right?
True. Like I am out YouTubing everybody. Probably nobody consumes more than me. That's probably that's
Yeah.
probably. Yeah.
And then also you've got the play. Like, why aren't you sitting down and doing your own assignments? Because you're bothering everyone else how to do the assignments.
True. It's good though. Like you're helping me do my sleep right now through the play. So as long as you're talking with somebody who actually understands you and knows, because
so that's another thing is like I've found that as well, is like you have questions, right? And you ask the question and you need it answered. And sleep is about answering your own questions.
God damn it.
So they're good questions, but just try to answer them on your own,
Yeah, I guess this is something like I should start writing down, like try to answer questions by yourself first before going to other people. Yeah, now that it makes a lot more sense, like me not being able to figure out things on my own, like about in this NT way, is not just me not having TI, it's me having NT sleep last. That makes more sense.
Yeah.
More and more of the type starting to make more sense as I speak with you, and I guess as I speak with other people of the community, it's gonna make even more. It's gonna
So I hope so, but like what worries me about that kind of statement coming from someone of your type,
I want to consume my sleep. God damn it, I did it again.
Yeah, is that you're learning this stuff and it's making more sense to you as you're talking to other people, and you might get a lot of misinformation that way. You know what I'm saying?
Because I have to. What do you mean by misinformation? Because I have to trust myself for the answers?
Yeah, well, because at the end of the day, we're talking about, right? It's your own functions. It's what's actually true internally, and so no matter what you're learning externally won't match one-to-one with what's going on internally.
Interesting. Yeah. Well, I guess I'll just put in some time and like sit down and be like, okay, sleep, and then start thinking, okay, what's actually sleep, and then hopefully I can come up with something, try to contemplate and stuff. But yeah, I'm starting to see like really the addiction to the saviors. Like, oh my god, like even when I think I'm trying to do the demon, you still can flip it and go to the savior. Oh my god. By the way, I just realized that what I see on my camera is not what's on the camera on the bottom, and I got the freak out of, is it actually worse like than I thought it was? Are you seeing my not that messy bit? But I guess it's not that important. SE again. God damn it.
Yeah.
It's
Really,
like,
yeah.
but,
You're giving us examples in the moment of what that SE is like.
but
Yeah.
it's very important. I see that like I have this map because I can then have all the awareness, like catching myself over and over and over. And I assume because I believe like awareness is like the key to solving like most problems in your life. So as long as I'm able to catch myself, okay, I'm again, it's the savior addiction again and again and again and again. Then I can
Yeah.
start, you know.
Yeah, SE is also a type of awareness, right? SE is awareness of
Mm, that's good.
it's good if you're not
Savior.
addicted.
Oh my god.
Yeah, if you're not addicted to it, it's good. Yeah.
So like it's bad to be addicted to awareness. Yeah, like how do you even know who to listen then to if they're all like mad on their saviors and they're preaching their saviors to you? And if they're the
Yeah.
same saviors as you, then it's actually bad for you to listen to them. Maybe
So
just
this is actually something Dave and Shen come up with. It's like that's who they choose to listen to. They choose to listen to the people who are preaching their demons because they've solved something. They've discovered something.
exactly.
Yeah.
True. I guess that's a good way to like, especially if you know, like you can just listen to the guys they listen to, but if you know somebody's stuff, like if you hear them talking about their demons, then you're like, okay, maybe that's. So who do you think makes more sense to one from like from the same time as you, who's like preaching his demons, or from like the opposite type of you, who's also preaching his demons, but they're actually your saviors, or like.
So
Hmm.
so you're trying to ask me who can you go learn from?
God, like this is painful right now. When
Yeah, sorry, dude.
now I'm starting to understand what they're saying in the videos when they're like
Yeah.
like you catch yourself and in 5 seconds later you're doing it again.
Yeah.
It's becoming a bit depressing, honestly. Oh well, I guess we're still doing better than before, so I cut myself some
Yeah,
slack. I'm sure we'll
you're
figure it out
100%.
eventually.
Yeah. Um, do you have something that you've sort of figured out about your type, maybe that I didn't ask about?
About my time, it's the thing is it's been too short of a time frame. Like really, it's been I think
Yeah.
24, like 72 hours since I got my tab back, and since then I've been having to do some other things. So I really haven't given myself that much time to think about it, to be able
To
to come
process
up.
it, to sleep
Yeah,
process.
yeah, to sleep on it pretty much, I guess
Yeah.
so. Yeah, and I obviously put it off. I'm like, I have to get this fire sorted out that's happening on right now. So we'll do the sleep later on, you know.
So when I first got typed, it took me like a week to finish, and I'm still not done processing it. But like I was knocked out for a week. It's like, all right, now I got to figure this out. Yeah.
No joke. You did say, what did you say you typed yourself as? Was it TI and I sleep blast, something like that? Or you thought you were that after you got typed?
Blast last TINI is what I originally thought. Yeah.
Blast was interesting. Wow, yeah, I'm definitely not seeing the Mopi energy, I think. Just like,
Yeah.
yes, I don't have it either myself. But yeah, I guess for me, I don't know if other people did this, like where they got the type that they wanted to be, always wanted to be, like they kind of love, and then they weren't okay. It's actually kind of shitty. But I guess it wasn't like me getting, oh my god, not this type. I think that this type is the worst, like some stupid stuff like that. So it'd be even more terrible.
Yeah. Well, that's the. I mean, like every type is the worst. There's no good type.
Yeah, true, true. You just have to start seeing it, I guess.
Yeah.
It's very interesting. Gets me thinking.
Yeah. Do you have anything you want to promote at all, Victor?
You mean like social media and stuff like that, or?
Yeah, or I don't know, anything that you want to tell the people
Uh,
they're watching?
Not yet. No, I guess that's something we should also be thinking about.
No, it's just giving
Yeah,
you the opportunity if you want it.
yeah, thank you for that. But no, I guess.
Well, I look forward to talking to you some more once you figure this out a little bit better. It's a bit of a different interview, but it's good. I like it. Changing stuff up a little bit. New.
Too much, maybe.
Yeah. Oh no, it's perfect. So stick around. We can chat a little bit. We can hang out. And thanks everyone for watching. Have a good one.
Bye, guys.